So that's my oh, why does this happen to me? Why? Hello, sweeties. The idea for this video came from Ingrid Nilsson's 5MFU channel, where she talks about being an only child. And I'll put the link to her video in the description box, and also right here if I have learned how to link things in videos. But if not, it'll be in the description box. And I highly recommend you go see it. It is a really interesting video. Go, like, right now. I'll still be here when you get back. Go watch it. I'll be here. See? It's a really cool perspective on a situation that a lot of people don't grow up in. So in that video, if you haven't seen it, Ingrid talks about being an only child, what her experience was, and a bunch of the questions she gets asked. And those are questions that almost every only child gets asked pretty excessively. Most people don't completely understand what it's like to be an only child. Most people grow up with siblings in some form or another. Step siblings, half siblings, full siblings. I'm going to mirror her video a little bit. I'll do pros and cons based on my childhood and then answer some of the questions that I do get asked a lot from friends, family, strangers on the street who find out that I am an only child. Some of the answers I am taking directly from her videos, and those I will highlight in some way. I'm not sure how yet, but I will highlight them so that she gets credit for those answers, because for some of them she hit the nail right on the head. Pro number 1 is that I'm introverted / I learned how to be alone without being lonely. The introversion thing might just be who I am, but being an only child definitely helped. I grew up on a really long dirt road, and I had a trike with a bucket on the back that once you fill it, you could dump it without having to pick up the whole trike. So what I would do is I would go out on my trike and pick up rocks that I thought were cool, put them in the back, and I would do that for hours until I could no longer move my trike, at which point I would dump the rocks and then start all over again. And con number 1 is that I'm afraid of conflict / afraid of anything that goes wrong. As an only child, there is no one else to share the blame. When you have a sibling, you can at the very least try to blame them, whether it's your fault or their fault. But as an only child, there is no one else to blame. I mean, maybe you could get a dog to take the blame, but if something is broken or there's coloring on the walls, there is no doubt that it's probably your fault. And that's still very much the case now. Pretty much anything that happens, I blame myself almost immediately. For example, if I'm at work and someone calls out sick, I am immediately afraid to tell the next person up that we need to start calling someone in, because to me, it's my fault somehow. Pro number 2 is that I was able to explore all kinds of interests. Because it was just me, my parents had the time to let me try a bunch of different things. I even wrote them down, hold on, or at least some of them. See, there was horseback riding, snowboarding, gymnastics, karate, basketball, dance, singing. On the flip side of that, though, con number 2 is I never really learned how to settle. I'm always looking for what's next. What can I do? What can I try next? I really wish I had continued snowboarding. I kind of wish I had kept up with karate and singing and dancing. I really wish I had continued to do. And that still continues today. I am always looking for the next thing. I have a really hard time with sticking just with one thing and loving it, because I'm always looking for what's next. I had a really hard time relating to other kids when I was younger, which leads us into both the pro and con number 3. I watched a lot of TV when I was younger. So on the pro side of that, I learned at a very young age that that is something I enjoy. I enjoy the idea of film and movies and TV and the camera itself. It was just so cool. Now it's more YouTube videos than it is TV and movies, but it's turned into a really great outlet for me, and I am loving it. On the con side of that, like anything else, if you do too much of it, you get sick of it. Where I grew up, there isn't a whole lot to do, and most of my friends lived at least half an hour away at all times. So that's what I spent a lot of my time doing. But I would get really bored and not have a whole lot else to do, which ultimately I turned to books and stuff like that, so that was great, but it wasn't always fun. So now I'm going to answer some questions that, like most only children, I tend to get. Did you like it? / do you think you missed out on anything? I didn't like it at all. I have very distinct memories of asking for siblings when I was little. Because I don't know what it's like to have a sibling, I'm guessing I may not have liked it as much as I thought I would, but it still sounded better than being by myself, always. I think, if anything, I missed out on a very unique friendship that siblings have once they get older. But I also know that I wouldn't have had nearly as many opportunities when I was younger if I had had a sibling. I think the only way I would change the way I grew up would be if I was about 100% sure that I would still be pretty much the same person I am now. The person who likes to read and has the same sense of humor and style of dress and the same friends and all of that stuff that I love about my life right now, just with a sibling. This next question I get a lot. Were you spoiled? I don't think anyone really wants to admit to that, whether it's true or not. But here's my take on it. Yes, I was spoiled. However, I don't think I am spoiled, if that makes sense. Let me explain. I think what people are really asking when they ask that is, were you spoiled rotten? Were you given everything you always wanted, right when you wanted it? And did it ruin you as a human being? Do you now expect everyone to give you everything you want, always? And no, that hasn't happened to me at all. Like I said earlier, my parents did give me the chance to try a lot of things, and so that is the big reason that I say, yes, I was spoiled. I got to do all kinds of things that I wanted to do just because I was an only child and my parents could do it. But I wasn't just handed things. I remember being in the store with my parents and asking for something as small as a pack of gum, and they would say, well, do you have the money to pay for it? And of course, the answer was no. I was a 6-year-old. How was I going to get such money? As I got older, though, they gave me chances to earn money. I remember I wanted to go to a concert with my friends my freshman year of high school, and I didn't have a job. I had no way of buying it myself, and my parents weren't going to just buy it for me. And my mom has horses, and so she said, I'll pay you to do barn chores. And so that's what I did. I earned the money to buy my own concert ticket by helping my mom with barn chores. So long story short, yes, I was spoiled. My parents let me do so many things, and I am so grateful for it. But they also never just handed me gifts and toys and presents and stuff like that. They did an amazing job at teaching me that I had to earn the things that I really wanted and that they weren't just going to be handed to me. This last question I've actually never been asked, but she answered it in her video, and it was something that I thought was really interesting to think about, and so I decided to put it in the video anyway. What do you think you would be like as a sibling? I've always wanted either a little brother or a big sister. I was a tomboy growing up, and so I wanted someone who might be interested in the same things I was interested in. The girls I grew up with liked Barbies and dress up and stuff like that, and where I didn't see anything wrong with that, it's just not what I wanted to spend my time doing. I would have much rather been wrestling or playing video games or something like that, and so in my mind, a little brother would have been perfect. My mom's a teacher, and I'm not really sure why, but when I was younger than the girls she taught, I always sought validation from them. I wanted an older sister so badly, and I wanted those older girls to think I was so cool. I think based on that alone, just those two things, I would have been a great older sister to a younger brother, but an incredibly annoying little sister to an older sister. So that's my take on growing up as an only child. Like I said, I'll put the link to Ingrid's video in the description. If you haven't already seen it, I would highly recommend going and watching it. It's occurring to me that I haven't come up with any kind of outro for the end of my videos, so for now I guess I'll just go with I'll see you guys next week. Bye.